Greetings in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, Melech of Yasharal, Kohen forever according to the order of Melchizedek. All esteem, honor, and glory unto Yahuwah, our Lua. My name is Melech Mikael Shalomo. This is Melech Shalomo Trading, and I'm gonna do a trade recap here I did on ES Futures. So this is something I've been looking at and trying to implement more in my trading strategies, right? So I'm a student of the Wycoff theory, and the Wycoff theory basically is accumulation structures, distribution structures, right? So in this little setup right here, we have a downtrend, right? And let me just see if I could take off some of this stuff just for clarity here. Take off the absorption. Because I'm just gonna really show order flows, so I don't need to show this stuff here, like the absorption and the sweeps and stuff like that. So what I have here, or what's going on here, is it's a big downtrend, right? So at the open, which is this here 9:30 Eastern time, we had this sell-off. We came down to Camarilla S3, the monthly Camarilla S3 level, which is, it came to just above that, right? So the low was at approximately 58.52, right? So when we pop back up, we're creating something like a automatic rally, right? So this is a downtrend. You get the selling climax, and then after that, within the Wyckoff theory, right, you get the selling climax, which is around here. Then you get the automatic rally. So in my strategies, I'm looking for sells at the automatic rally. I'm looking for buys basically like in the bowling green strategy, which is a reversal strategy. I'm looking for buys around this level, which is the secondary stop, right? So if it gets back down to this level and this is accumulation, we're gonna buy at this level, right? Well, I'm not gonna take any more trades, but I'm just kind of explaining the structure of the Wyckoff accumulation. So just trying to lead into how I took my trade, right? So with this being the selling climax here, we have heavy volume, right? Preliminary stop, heavy volume, selling climax is here, right? The volume dropped off, so the absorption is taking place, right? They're absorbing the sellers. Now when we get back up to this level here, which is the automatic rally, let me just go in a little more detail over here, right? So we bounce back up and we're coming up to the VWAP level, right? So this is an anchored VWAP. I think this was from the news event at 8:30. So this is the VWAP from that anchored at that event, and this is the VWAP from the ETA, the RTH open, right? So that yellow line, RTH open, and this is the 8:30 news event. So what I'm looking for here, while we're creating, so the automatic rally is basically like a mini distribution structure, right? So you're going to see the order flow create something like a distributive structure. Now in the distribution structure, you're looking for a preliminary supply, right? Which could be something like here, right? When you get the real pullback. So we're looking at VWAP as the level, right? That is coming back to. So we're coming back to VWAP. This is the first touch on VWAP. Let me just open this up a little more so you can see what I'm saying. This is the preliminary supply in the distributive structure. We get the pullback. We push up to create the automatic rally. I mean the buying climax, sorry. So let me just label this out, right? So this is your preliminary supply. You get the pullback. You create the buying climax, right? So you can see the buying climax happens at let's see here. It happens at the VWAP from the anchored from the VWAP of the news event, right? So this is where we get the buying climax. We get a rise in volume, just like around the preliminary supply. Right here we have a rise in volume, preliminary supply spikes up, we get the first pullback, we push up again, high volume, and after the buying climax, we create something called the secondary supply, right? So this is basically the range
Iceberg gold
of the
sell at
distribution right now, right? So buying
$2,719.05 more
climax, we
than
create the
100
secondary
contracts.
supply, and after the secondary supply, you're supposed to get an uptrust. The uptrust is a break above the buying climax, right? So this is what I was looking for within this setup. I'm looking for after the buying climax. So a lot of people here would take a short here, right? And this is how we get stopped out because of not really knowing how the structures play out, right? So, and it's some people call this like a head and shoulders pattern, but it's basically a Wycoff theory distribution, right? Distributive structure. So what happens here? Secondary supply, and you get the uptrust. The uptrust is usually with heavy volume as well. This is taking out the rest of sellers that's initially coming in because of, you see the heavy liquidity. The selling setup is predominant, right? It's poking out. It I mean not poking out, but it's screaming at everybody that this could be a short because where we have heavy liquidity here, we have VWAP retest, right? So this is looking like it's exhaustion right here, so we could take the short. So initially you would get some profit and then you'd get this big spike up. So this is what usually happens with the uptrust after the buying climax, right? So you get high volume buying, and it's basically buyers pushing it back up to get the best prices, and they're pushing into their take profits, right? So these are their take profits. So whoever accumulated, they want to take profit here. So you see initially they didn't get into their profit level, and then they got to their profit. Now let's see here. Right. So what happens here is I'm looking for the exhaustion, right? So you can see initially I took this as the exhaustion level. It pulled back. I took a stop out right here, couple stops, and then eventually I got it, right? So as we pushed above, right above this level here, that's when I took the entry, took another entry as we broke down, and it did still retest a little bit, and eventually I got the short, right? Right. So we broke back down, broke below VWAP, retested VWAP, and pushed down again, right? So as we, excuse me, as we push down again, we're coming down into, this is like a previous VPOC for the week, right? This was from 12:15:24,
Iceberg NQ buy at
right? 58:17. So I mark out these weekly
$20,960.25 more than
VPOC
50
levels as
contracts.
to me it's important because like these big institutions, they kind of, they work week by week, right? So you want to see where most of the volume was transacted per week. So I kind of started labeling these for the weeks that as they progress, right? So that was the VPOC for the 15th of the 12th 2024, right? So we came back to that level. You can see prices interacting with it. So it's an important level, right? So we bounced off of it, and this is a Eval account. So this is a 150k Apex account, right? So as you can see here, you're supposed to make 9 grand to pass this Eval account, right? So I took 10 contracts, and as we're coming down here, this is bouncing around a little bit, so I'm around here is coming up to like 6 grand, I think. So I'm holding on to this a little bit because I want to get back down to this level here. So initially we did get down to this level, right? But I wasn't quick enough to stop out here, right? Because I thought it was gonna just push down and like I would just stop out when eventually it hit this level here, right? But as we pull back up now, we made this lower high, and I had to be kind of nimble just to try and find a sweet spot to get this right here, 9,312 to exit the trade right here. So as you can see, it still pulled back again, created another lower high. So I could have held on to this trade and push it down to this level, but this is a significant level right here, this VPOC. So as it came down to this level again, I decided to, as soon as it hit the target, the 9 grand target, I would come out, right? So stop out of the trade. So yeah, that was the trade right there. It was let's see, from 58.92, I believe it was. Hold on. Right. So the first entry is 58.92.50. Added to it at 58.90.75, and that was 10 contracts down to 58.71, right? So yeah, that was the trade there. So this trade is basically like a variant of the 360 fire strategy that I'm working on, but that 360 fire strategy is basically more of a clean downtrend, right? So when I say clean downtrend, let me just kind of show what that would look like. So to me, a clean downtrend without a reversal, the 365 is kind of like a trend trade for a downtrend, right? So this right here is an entry for the 365, right? So you see how we bounced off this second lower deviation, this first lower deviation right here. We came down, right? This was an entry, the retest. This was an entry, the retest right here. And basically that was it. It was supposed to stay below this first lower deviation and continue going down for it to be a fully effective downtrend, or a downtrend that has no real major pullbacks like this. So this created like an accumulative structure, and we could still get buyers here and still push up for the day. Now if it's a strong downtrend, it's gonna only retest this -1 VWAP, retest -1 VWAP, and keep going, just like it did here. Retest -1 VWAP, we sold again, retest -1 VWAP, and we sold, right? So anytime it starts breaking above -1 VWAP, it's turning into what I call the bowling green strategy, right? So this is basically like an accumulation between -1 and -2 VWAP. That's -2, that's -1. You get the pushback above. You take the entry right here to VWAP and to +1 VWAP, right? So within this structure, I was looking for this to be a distribution right here because the downtrend is strong. There's still accumulation, but the selling is strong,
Iceberg
right? So
and
the
Q buy at
accumulation will take a little longer because they
$20,928, more
have to
than
do
50
major buying
contracts.
to absorb these buyers right here, these sellers right here. So as we come down to this level, it's a major level. It's Camarilla S3, the monthly Camarilla S3. So big players will definitely try and step in around here at 58, 48, 25, right? To try and get the best prices that they could. This is also another weekly VPOC here at 12, 30, 24, right? So a lot of major players might be stepping in at this level here. And let me just label this because I like to put it on the chart as well, aside from the columns. right, so yeah, that's basically it right there. That's the trade right there. It wasn't a specific strategy. It was just following the theory of automatic rally, catching this distribution right here. Caught the distribution. It was a upthrust above the VWAP level. Hold on. Right, and caught this upthrust right here and had a nice pullback to this weekly VPOC. Yeah, and that's the trade right there past the eval. So I have this another eval in the bank right there. Gonna try and work on taking A plus setups only with these evals to try and maintain them and start taking profit out of them. All right, y'all. It's Malek Shalomo. Y'all trade safe and stay blessed.